Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your channel host, GBHL James, and I am joined by two very special guests today, some of which you will know, some of which you might not know, although will sound familiar. Today we have Guild Ball Informer Jay Finnegan.
Hello.
Who I am repping today, and very nice to see that you're repping
Redesolation.
Yeah, did you enjoy some Redesolation?
Loved it.
Thank you very much for all your help, by the way.
You're welcome.
And we've also got another Redosser here.
Yep, indeed.
That's
Redosser.
You've got to be careful with that.
Yeah. That's not it, I think.
We've got another attendee of Redesolation Support. It is 19 Mark F91, who you will know from the channel. It's Mark Furness, everybody. Give him a big warm welcome to Speak Money Question.
Cheers, thank you very much.
How's it feel to be in the man cave?
It's very nice, yeah. Very, very nice. Everything, as I was saying,
nice in this bit
better.
here,
Yeah.
Over there that the camera can't see.
Yeah.
Not so good. You can tell I kind of got bored with painting the walls.
Okay.
It was a nightmare. Masonry paint's an absolute nightmare. So it's Speak Money Question this week. Unfortunately, Jamie can't make it, but we do wish him all the best. And it's going to be the three of us. And look at this. First question is from somebody called Guild Ball Informer.
I don't know who that is.
I've heard that's a really, really good YouTube channel.
Yeah, average.
Try harder.
Definitely not. It is great fun. If you've not checked out Guild Ball Informer, make sure you go and check that out for all of your Guild Ball content. So do you want to read this one out, Mark, since it's your first time here?
So as I say, this is from the Guild Ball Informer. A great video as always. Do you guys struggle when waiting to build new forces when so far into the game most things have been done? Trying to think of something truly original and struggling. Any suggestions? Cheers guys. P.S. Jamie, who's the best defensive midfielder in Guild Ball?
So this is the question that he put to your...
That I had no answer for, yeah. And now he's spamming it on every post.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's become a little bit of an in-joke.
Yeah.
A bit of an in-joke there. So, very interesting question. And do we struggle with thinking of new and original forces? Well, I suppose the game's been around quite a while.
Like I was messaging you the other day about Minas Tirith and stuff. I'm trying to think of something that no one has done, or something that you don't see often / at all.
Yeah, I know what you mean. What do you think?
Like you said,
everything
everything has been done in a way, but there is things that you never see.
Yeah.
Like Numenor, maybe.
Well, I was talking to you about a pure Knight and Minas Tirith army, or a pure Osgiliath veteran army.
And again, we've seen it.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, because the game's been around for a while, there are people who have brought those types of armies before. Our very own Al Wood from the channel, I've seen him bring an all Knights of Minas Tirith army.
Ah, okay, okay.
I've seen a couple of Osgiliath veteran armies. One might have been by Steve at some point, I'm not sure whether that was, it might have been a channel battle report. But in terms of completely new ideas, I think most of the very obvious themes and fluffs, you see a bit, because we are lucky, we do have quite a fluffy community for the most part. I think things that you don't see so much is people sort of delving back into the history of Middle-earth and sort of maybe swapping, using profiles as...
Ian Spiller just did that, didn't he, at Redesolation? Yeah.
Exactly, like Ian did.
What did he read?
He did an old High Elf force based on from the First Age.
Oh, right.
And he did some very cool conversions. He used the Games Workshop miniatures as a base, and then built a theme around that. And that was really nice to see. So I think
it was nice. Yeah.
Maybe that sort of looking back into the books.
I think I'm going to have to look at sort of profiles to suit models and things like that at this point.
Yeah. So, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
So next up we got.
Hold on.
Oh,
there's a second question.
I don't think we'll read that out. I think you've already had a Scouring of YouTube.
No, you keep dodging it.
I think that we've just... I'm sure that you've had one. Oh, no, okay. This is this week's edition of The Scouring
of YouTube.
Well done, guys. Jamie doesn't even do that anymore. Sits there and rolls his eyes and looks grumpy. I can't believe he's still running with this. So the Scouring of YouTube, if anybody doesn't know, is it's a format which pops up every now and again, which gives us an opportunity to spam a fellow YouTuber, and I think you're deserving of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think you're deserving of it. So if you want to make your way over towards the Guild Ball Informer YouTube page, of course we're very much repping that. So I've got my mug that I've got from Most Sporting there at the front there.
Yeah, Most Sporting, yeah.
T-shirt. How that happened. Probably because I spent most of the time at the Guild Ball tournament and I have no idea what is going on.
What do I do?
What do I do? Yeah, you go ahead and win. Just teach me some stuff along the way. So yeah, if you want to head over to the Guild Ball Informer, we'll put a video in the description of this video below with a link to your YouTube channel. Super. And go over there and just say, come over from GBHL Podcast, wishing you all the best with your YouTube channel.
Good stuff.
So next up we've got Power Voltaire. He's put, whoa, your channel is really growing.
Haven't you hit 4,000 now?
We certainly have.
Nice.
You hit Did you see the picture I put on yesterday? And you were at 3,999. But it's the point where I paused it, and go and have a look at Tom and Jamie's faces at the point I paused.
Oh,
It's
I've seen it.
hilarious.
Yeah. Go and get yourself onto the Great British Hobbit League Facebook group to have a look.
Congratulations on 4,000.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you very much. I take full credit. For the rest of those amateurs. It's all banter.
Yeah.
So 4,000 subscribers. Yeah, thanks very much everybody for your support, and yeah, hopefully we'll continue to grow and get even more new people involved in our wonderful community. Because that's the best thing about it. I'm sure you've found the same.
Definitely, yeah.
It's definitely.
It's meeting people at tournaments, isn't it? And
Yeah. You forget you're at a tournament half the time when you're just chatting away. It's just about meeting new people and enjoying the banter that comes with it, as you've just said.
it certainly does. About two people being across the table having a good time, get to play with toy soldiers that we don't normally get a chance to do. So thank you very much for that. Power Voltaire. So next up we've got Shen Barnes.
Yep, and Shen Barnes says, what is the best way to deal with elven shooting with a horde mortar army with no bows? So I can think of two straight away. One is the Shadow Lord.
Yep, Shadow Lord is a viable tactic, so for those who don't know, he creates a pool of darkness, which means it's 6s to hit instead of the 3+ that elves normally would have.
And the second is heroic marching. Just get there as quickly as possible to stop the bows, basically.
Yeah, definitely. If you're looking
use the terrain to your advantage as well. That's a good shout.
terrain to your advantage is a good one. Another good one is if you're up against Elven shooting, then defense 6 is quite handy, because then they will still need 6s. If you've got defense 5 or lower, then you're in a bit of trouble. So if you're a lower defence army...
So you want your Moran and Orcs that have got the high defence.
Moran and Orcs with your Mordor with a high defence in the front rank is always a good way to go, I think, versus Elven shooting. Another thing that I've seen in the past as well is getting a drum involved. That can speed you up. That can speed you up, although maybe not as common a tactic. But yeah, just get up in the face, heroic marching, Shadow Lord is helpful. Any others?
No, you nicked mine. I was going to say the drummer.
Oh no! We should have rehearsed it. One contribution each.
Okay.
I'm sorry, everybody.
No, I think, like you said, defence 6 front line, heroic marching, drumming. Yeah.
That's usually the way to go, isn't it? So thank you very much for that question, Shen. So after that we have Mason O'Neill.
Hey guys, random question here, but in a zombie apocalypse, what one main weapon would you choose to have? And also, where would you hide / live / go to? My choice of weapon would be is it katana or katana? I never know how to pronounce that.
Is it katana? I think it's
Katana,
yeah.
sounds right, yeah.
I'd like to live in a high-rise building with no stair access and just grow plants on the roof. That sounds like 28 days later, is it?
Yep.
It's in that, it's like, and catch the water, etc.
It's been done. Right, okay.
That's been done in a film.
So here we go. So what main weapon would you... No, I think he's been quite brave going for a close combat weapon. Because I would much rather be picking these things off at a long distance.
Yeah, I want some sort of rifle.
But then
I don't want to be
you're
close
running
to
out of ammo after however many fights come.
Well, then this is where the next bit comes in,
Yeah.
because I would be making my way straight to the local territorial army place and getting in the armory there, no problem at all. You know who I am? Do you know who I am? Yeah, I'd probably choose a weapon that I'm very familiar with, is a mini-me light machine gun.
Sounds good.
Yeah, lots of rounds. Although you probably want something with a bit more high velocity, I think, with a zombie, because you want to be able to blow their heads off.
A minigun. Just give me a minigun and sit me somewhere.
So high velocity maybe, but it's quite heavy to lug around a Gympie, general purpose machine gun.
I ain't going anywhere, because if I leave the house I'm dead within 3 minutes. I would be useless in the apocalypse. So I'm just going to hole up wherever I am with a big ass gun. A big gun.
What's the movie with Brad Pitt in it? The latest zombie movie. I'm not. What's it called?
World War Z.
World War Z. Yeah.
Now, in the past, I would have thought that going up onto a high rise would be a good idea, but I've seen the trailer. I've not seen the actual movie, and these zombies just all climb on top of each other.
Was was it Jerusalem or is it Israel, somewhere in Israel where they've got that big wall around the whole city, and that's the scene, is where they're all like climbing on top of each other to get over the wall.
Yeah.
And that destroys your idea, Mason. What's going like that?
But then what type of zombie is it? Because if it's like that type of zombie, or is it like Shaun of the Dead, where they're really slow?
Yeah.
Depends what type of zombies you're against, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah. If they're slow.
If they're slow, you just want running shoes as your weapon. Run away.
Stay well away from it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it depends on what zombie. Maybe come back with us next week with what kind of zombie that you're going for there, buddy. So thanks for your question, Mason. Next up we've got Crocodile. He's put, thank you for another great Speak Friendly question. I'm very excited about the Grand Tournament in Manchester 2016. So you guys are aware of this now? What we're aiming for? Yeah. Excited? You're going to aim to come?
Definitely, yeah. summer holidays sounds like I'm at school. My leave comes approved in a month's time. That's when I can start bidding. So
Brilliant.
in a month's time, I should know.
So I believe it's the 22nd and 23rd is going to be the grand tournament, and guys coming across around the world for that. And there should be a trailer for the event and more details before Christmas. I'm actually going to meet in another hotel next week, which is a bit less expensive than one of the other ones that I went to. £27,000 for 3 days I got quoted. I was like, I don't think that's happening. So guys, a lot of work is going to go into this. So hopefully you'll get behind it and support it. Hopefully it's an opportunity for not just for gamers to come together, but everybody who's involved in the hobby. And I will be contacting various of you guys out there who you won't know who you are yet. So I'm glad that you're coming to that Crocodile. You got your green light from your wife today, so you will be attending. That's great news. I've now spread the word to the SBG community in Sweden, and hoping for more Swedish players will attend. You guys are doing amazing work for the hobby. Best regards, Mikael Jansson. Thank you very much, Mikael. That's very, very much appreciated. There are a few Swedish players. We've had a couple attend some of the early Desolation of Stockport events. Remember Niels? Niels? Yeah. I think I get confused because Jamie calls him Niles and I call him Nils. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he came over with his dad from Sweden. Yeah. So there will be an element of World Cup style or World Team Championship style format to the event. So people get an opportunity to represent their countries and their clubs, which should be quite exciting. That's cool. You're going to represent Manchester? Absolutely. You're representing Yorkshire?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. War of the Roses.
Yeah, War of the Roses. That should be good. So yes, definitely something to look forward to, everybody. So next up we've got Thomas Horatio. Yep.
Thomas Horatio asks, will we get a Halloween special Speak Friend in Question for 96? Is this 96?
Yeah, this is 96.
So no. The answer is no.
I didn't actually think about that.
It's Halloween at start,
Oh, you're joking?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Sorry about that, Thomas. Afraid not.
Afraid not. Are you doing anything for Halloween?
I'm working early Sunday, so I might do something, but it won't be.
Yeah, I'm working on weekend as well.
Rock and roll. Going and knocking on people's doors for sweets.
Yeah.
I think last year last year
I was going to say, last year they all got a bit of that.
We're doing like Biotic Fit night out on the Friday night.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going to Amicis.
Yeah.
Just to make all of you Stockporters
very
like Mecca for strategy battle gamers, that place.
Isn't it strange that place has become,
party night at Stockport has become a thing.
It certainly has. So yeah, cheers for
that.
that.
To try fit that in, even with the one in October, you're going to try fit an Amicis night in, even though we're not in Stockport.
No. I'm afraid with people coming from around the world, they might not understand it.
They deserve slightly more than
Listen, if you want to come from across the world and slum it in the world's largest independent UK event so far, which is of course the Desolation Stockport, which will be happening in April, you're more than welcome to come and to get involved in that, because it is amazing in its own unique kind of way.
Certainly
and
is.
The thing that we're doing in Manchester is literally just trying something different and hopefully bigger that gets more people going to all of the independent tournaments.
Yeah.
Get people from across the world. So next up we've got Aquathon 39.
Yep. Do you want to get this one?
Yeah, sure.
It's a long one on the list. Oh, he's done it!
I did the last one.
Jamie manoeuvre.
I always notice you say Akathon. Is it not Acthon?
I've got no idea. I say most people say. You are Mark F191. Is that
right? I'm born in 1991. So whenever I first made YouTube, that's my name.
Mark F91.
And then I've just never got around to changing it, and now I don't know how to. So I probably do need to do it at some point. So it's put, maybe I might do that for you guys. I'll see. I'm guessing that's in relation to something he said last week. Maybe.
Yeah, I asked him if because he's done a lot for the Plantier in the past, and I asked him if he could possibly screenshot every single the first bit of each. Of each speak friendly question to see how we've changed over the last 2 years.
Is this Ryan Ratchford?
Yeah, Ryan Ratchford.
Yeah, I played Ryan at Predestination.
Nice
Lovely game. We had we played, I think it was the last game, day one, and I had the Goblin King and he had Thorin, and we just agreed that everyone else would ignore them two, and they would just meet in the middle of the table, and Thorin
That's
smashed
what it's
him.
about, guys.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Coolness.
Who won in the end out of them?
Thorin destroyed him. But then Bill the Pony ran over and just beat Thorin into a pole. Bill the Pony, not Bill the Pony. Bill the Troll.
Bill the Pony. You imagine it? Bill the Pony comes up on a 6, you get might point back.
Yeah, Thorin used all his might to kill the Goblin King, so then Bill the Troll just ran over and battered him.
So the list is It's grim, that's what it is.
As for my list last week of 90 total goblins, including Goblin King, Grinner, 5 captains and 2 shamans and 81 goblin warriors, this is only 750 points.
Nice.
My 1,000 points of themed Goblin Town is 1,000 points is Evil Goblin King, 12 goblins, Grinner, 12 goblins, Goblin Captain, 12 goblins, Goblin Captain, 12 goblins, Goblin Captain, 12 goblins, Goblin Captain, 12 goblins, another Goblin Captain and 12 goblins, another Goblin Captain, 12 goblins. I've lost where I am now. Goblin Captain and 10 goblins, and then a Moria Shaman on its own by the looks of it, another Moria Shaman, another Moria Shaman, Golem as well. 119 in total, I'm guessing that's models. Need 61 to break, 91 to reduce to 25%. Thoughts, it's themed as my shamans are converted and I'll just be visiting them at some point.
Listen, we know lots of people who try and get around stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot.
It always looks cool.
Yeah.
That sounds
Grim.
awful to play against.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to dissuade you from doing it. That's very much how long is the game lasting for, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say a game will usually end by time on
Yeah.
that in a tournament environment, and I think as well, isn't it Sterling who do the 1,000 points? Don't they have like a 100 model cap as well?
Yeah, there
I
are some.
imagine that. Yeah.
There are some where there is a model cap.
Take builder trolleys for winners.
That's going to be very tough for your opponents to play because you are almost certainly going to be outnumbering them. You've got the shamans to work against the only thing that could really destroy you, which is breaking.
Yeah.
But even breaking you to kill 61 that's a hard effort, even with goblins.
If you look at 61 to kill as well, with Fury, 20 of those are going to live. So averages, you're looking at killing about 80 to actually get 61 off the board.
Yeah, that's going to be tough going.
Yeah.
Your opponent, I mean, the game is going to last a long time because it's physically going to take you a long time to move your models. So really, it's down to the speed of your opponent's play and whether he can convince you to get a move on.
I don't think you could kill like 80 to break at 60 in a couple of hours. It would be tough.
I think I've just counted as well. I think it's 23 mites if I've got it right. So 23 might as well.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's pretty grim now, Ryan. But good luck with that. I look forward to seeing it on the table, and credit to you if you've managed to paint all of that.
Yeah,
even it being Goblin Town, that's a tough going. So next up we've got WK Valida. So can you guys speak a little about reinforcements such as Floy, King's Champion, Amder, etc.? I find a hard time finding rules for them as none of my sourcebook includes these type of heroes, so I end up with a lot of miniatures that I have no rules for and the print versions are no longer available. As an aside, my flag is upside down as a sort of political statement, as I watch our freedoms erode through legislation and fear-mongering politics. As a nation, we are in distress, call it a warning. I'm pretty sure that's not just in Canada, a lot of places.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go away from the politics and talk about reinforcements. So I'm guessing that will they have an old version of the army books?
Well, it's one of those. I mean, if you look, it's Free Peoples and Fallen Realms, which are both out of production anyway.
Yeah.
But you could, like you say, you could have the old versions like Mordor in Flames.
Yeah.
And there's one just for canned, isn't there? So it's going to be one of those two problems that he's facing.
And are they listed as, are those profiles listed as reinforcements in those books?
When they came out, it was, I'm sure it was called reinforcements. I think it was a White Dwarf, was it?
Thank goodness you're here.
I have no idea.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember there being, I think that was when all of the named ring wraiths came out, and I'm sure stuff like this came out at the same time. I could be wrong, but I'm sure it was called reinforcements, so if he has got all the old source books, they won't be in them.
And he can't get the new ones.
And he can't get the new profiles.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the standard devices, keep an eye on Facebook,
eBay
on the trade, and eBay.
Like
Keep a look an eye on that. But another good bit of advice is...
he can get the stats from like Lonely Knight's Army.
I was about to say that. You can get the stats. I don't think it includes special rules, but if you build them into your army and get yourself to a tournament, that should be able to give you a bit of a way around that. Unfortunately, we're not able to provide sort of like a free PDF or give you the stats across on this because for legal reasons. But that's probably going to be your best way to go. Try and find some people in your area who have got the books
Yep.
That would be probably the best thing to do. I'm sorry if that isn't as helpful as we could be, but that's probably as much as we can do. So next up we've got David Smith.
Yep, David Smith says, got to disagree with evil not taking bows. They fight just as well as non-bow armed models, and even a dozen orcs can threaten cavalry horses and may make your opponent coming too close to them. Give your oppo something to think about rather than giving him complete freedom of movement on the table.
It's a fair point.
It is a fair point, yeah. It's just with the amount that's going to hit, you need a dozen to be having any sort of effect in the game. Looking at 5s to hit, if you've got 3 or 4, you might get 1 to hit that's not wounding. It's not a threat. I would happily run cavalry at 4 orc bows.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't. 12 would be a different matter. I'd start losing horses, but so I think that's very much why it's take a third, because if you've got 12 bows, you've got 36 models. That's probably your force or thereabouts. So I think literally it is. For me, I do agree with the take none or take a third.
Yeah.
1 or 2 here and there doesn't really intimidate me enough to change what I do.
How about you?
Yeah, definitely. The thing I think as well is if you are investing in like 12 bows, that's 12 models that are on the front line, which is going to mean your front line's going to deplete quicker.
You lose out on your advantage.
Yeah.
You know, evil tends to be able to field a mass of cheap troops. I mean, they've got some great elites as well, but a mass of cheap troops.
Yeah, especially here, he's actually stated it would be orcs. With orcs, your numbers are one of your advantages, with 12 of them not being up there. Exactly. Yeah.
And because they're hitting on a 5+, remember, a 6+ if they move. So this is a key thing, because if you're then keeping part of that, but you are going to get outshot. If you stay back and you're up against a bow army, so let's say you're fighting against elves or Grey Company or even Lake Town, and they're taking a third of the bows, so a reasonable shoot value, you will lose that shooting war unless maybe you've got the Shadow Lord in there. And at higher points cost, you know, you're being up against blinding light, and again, if you don't have the Shadow Lord, you've got no counter to that. So really, you're either having to move, but move not as fast to engage, which means that you're going to be losing on the way, or you're going to have to sit back, and that's not playing to your advantages, and you will probably get outshot if you are an evil army that isn't hereditary.
The only evil shooting I'd probably consider a threat in low numbers is Arbalesters. They're probably the only sort of shooting in 3s and 4s that I would still be quite intimidated by.
Yeah.
But for orcs with bows and stuff, it's not. You need to max them, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Cool, so thanks very much for that, David Smith. We always appreciate different opinions. So next up we've got Kevin Demansky.
He's put, hi guys, first off, what is the criteria to be considered a first age subscriber? Secondly, in England, are you guys seeing the online order only for Hobbit, Lord of the Rings 10 like this is happening here in Canada? Finally, which factions would you guys like to see more people play as in tournaments to make them a little more dynamic? From the land of maple and bacon, Kevin.
Okay, so I should start off with that first bit.
Yep.
What is the criteria to be considered a first age subscriber? Well, originally this was going to actually be quite a technical thing where we were going to work out the number of years in the first age, and then that number of subscribers was going to become first age subscribers. But having different tiers of subscribers is never a good thing. So we refer to first age subscribers as being people who've been with us through thick and thin, from the start, who have subscribed. You know, we are, now that we've got 4,000, we'll be on second age for sure, but it's more of the title of, listen, if you watch our videos, if you like all of our videos when you watch them, which doesn't happen, you know, if we get 400 views on a video, you might get 10% of that as likes, you know, if that. If you're liking everything, sharing everything, getting people involved, then we consider you a first age subscriber. So anybody who's real supportive of this podcast gets that. So the next bit, who wants to take that bit?
Yeah, I'll take that. One thing regarding, is it going online only? Lord of the Rings and Hobbit has gone out of Games Workshop stores now. Unfortunately, I think it happened about a month ago.
That's right, yeah.
So obviously local gaming stores are still stocking it, but it's gone from Games Workshop itself, so it is online only now, which is sad.
And that is the trend. That's the way that it's definitely gonna go.
I'm guessing, did it happen at the same time as Age of Sigmar was released, or was it?
Yes.
That's exactly when it was. It was to, I think it was to clear space for the new.
I think there's a new brief for the shops, isn't there, as well, and a lot of them are being rebranded as Warhammer.
Yes.
You know, which is key. So I think there'll still be an online presence for a while.
Well, Smaug's just been re-released, so we've just had another one of Smaug's.
He was always going to be popular because it's not a gamer's piece. You know, you're going to get people who paint, and there are a lot of people.
A lot of modelers are buying that model for sheerly what it looks like rather than in a game sense.
There's a bigger market for that, definitely. And the final part,
What factions would you like to see more of in tournaments? Anything themed, really. I like. Yeah.
I'd like to see more like J. Claire's Camel Army. Things like that just look so cool. Stuff that looks cool on the table that you're not going to see every day. So like Mahud for me, Lake Town. I love seeing a full Lake Town list on the table.
Yeah.
I do like quite seeing infantry Rohan. Nothing against all cavalry. I like all cavalry as well. But when you see a full infantry Rohan, I do like the look of that.
More Gondor as well. You don't see it.
I made you a cup of tea as well. Come on.
It's a very nice cup of tea.
Get out! Can you not see we are in the land of the Horse Lords? I think nice themed different forces are always really cool. You know, it's always... It's not sad because it's the inevitable thing when you've got tournaments and a league format where there are points and where there are now very, very good prizes from a lot of the tournaments, is that there is going to be a group of people who are going there to win games, and it's a bit of a shame when you see, so for example, and the tournament's rules about lend itself to it, so I hold my hands up, but for example at Redesolation Stockport the meta was very much lots and lots and lots and lots of goblins with a wraith or two. Lots of raids, lots of goblins, lots of goblin kings, and we're seeing a lot of that at the moment. Goblin armies with goblin shamans, that's very much become the meta. Anything that's outside of that, like outside of the meta, I really, really like. I really like the idea of a weekend where you literally, like everybody takes up a spot as one faction. People effectively apply for it. You can only really do it, I think, on a local level and stuff, but everybody applies for a spot, and almost doing like a campaign where you play with that army, and it's a themed force from a particular time, and you play through a number of games which progresses you on the map in that day as a form of like campaign. And I think that would be cool, where it's like a set list based on the theme rather than on the...
It's like you say, as long as you get out of the normal stuff you see, like, I'll tell you one thing that stood out to me was Kieran's list at London Doubles. He took the 9 unnamed ring race on horse.
Oh wow.
Stuff like that. That's the sort of stuff you want to see that's just very cool.
Yeah.
And things like the Fellowship, just seeing the Fellowship on the table together is good.
I think everybody loves the Fellowship. So thank you very much for that, Kevin Demansky. So next up we've got A to the Pecs.
And he says, who can say...
GBHL!
Boom! I've not read the question.
Boom, 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 boom.
Who can say GBHL the fastest? That's actually Chris Hay. Guild Ball Informer, co-channel host. I'm trying to get him into the Hobbit.
He'd be very good.
Yeah.
I like Chris. In fact,
he's a nice guy.
I'm going to go so far as to say I love that guy.
You love that guy?
No, I really do. I've only met him a couple of times, but he's just so nice.
No,
he is. He's dead nice,
alright,
and he's funny, and he's a good choice for your co-host, I think.
Absolutely. So now Chris is in the loop as well.
He's in the loop, and what does that mean, Mark?
If we answer your question, which they have done, you have to ask one next week.
You can come back. You can come back.
He's never leaving the man cave. He's going to be kept out there.
You won't be the first. Let me go and get that note.
That's why I didn't want to show that wall. Over there already.
Yeah, there's like what's it? A rack. There's a rack there. And some other things in a box.
Not suitable for this channel.
So next up we've got Mark Bebe. We met him.
We did, yeah. I was speaking to Mark. He was in the battle report as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was.
The UK versus Denmark.
Yep.
Which was very cool. Really, really nice lads. Morton and Mark, who came over to the Redesolation Stockport from Denmark, and they are definitely coming to the big Manchester event that we're doing in October next year.
Good stuff.
So, hi guys. What do you think of the Mordor War Catapult? Is it worth taking? I think this is a bigger question. I think this is, is it worth taking War Machines in general in tournament play?
I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no, but that is purely based on I never see them and I don't actually know the rules for them. I've literally never looked into them to the point of are they worth taking. I don't know anything about them, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's a fair...
I play at Awkward Battles a lot, and JT uses the Dwarf Ballista quite a lot.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Which is very fun to play against, but even he would admit maybe 80% of the games it doesn't really do anything, because it needs to hit, and then even if it hits, it might not hit the target it wants to, so
It's very much a rule of cool thing, the dwarf.
Oh,
Ballista.
yeah.
Every now and then it will do something ridiculously fun. But
Although
the
I
rest
did,
of
I
the
remember
time
him mentioning once. It was a stock bot. I can't remember which one it was, but he said he killed 2 eagles with the ballista in one game.
That's cool.
And he said it was just the most epic moment of the tournament.
That's cool.
Which is definitely cool. But
Yeah, I think if you bring things like that along, you are bringing them because it is cool.
yeah.
Because it is cool. Lots of people have theorised bringing them into lists with the emergence of Smaug, who hasn't dominated the scene as some might have thought would have happened after his release. Because there have been a lot of tournaments that could have allowed for him to be there. Bear in mind. But generally, you don't see them, and the reason why you don't see them is they eat away quite a lot into your points for not a guaranteed effect in the game. However, I think it's cool, and I think it makes your opponent think about something different as well. I would have to spend some time during the game reading up on the rules because I've got no idea.
See, I've played JT's Ballista as well, and when he puts it on the table and goes, right, that's got a 48-inch range, it does affect my deployment. And he uses, I think he had 2 actually, and he used them very much as control tools, just to control which routes of the board I use, which was quite good to see.
That gives another fair point about it as well, is that with deployment rules as they are, a lot of the deployment for the scenarios means that you can end up being quite close to the opponent, which of course is going to be a negative impact, or in the other scenarios you're not sure when it's coming on or where it's coming on. So that's another thing that works against sort of individual siege pieces like that, I think. So next up we've got Time Actual Sita.
Okay. Do you want this one off?
Hey guys, thanks for the tip about MERP. It's really expanding my fluff knowledge. Have I said that right? MERP?
Yeah, it's Middle Earth role playing.
Okay.
Okay.
It's if you want to look into sort of further backstories of areas that weren't really expanded on by Tolkien but just named and mentioned, like parts of the world, using Middle Earth roleplay by ICE is a really good way of creating themes and ideas from other parts of the map, like the Deep South and the Far East and stuff.
Cool.
How do you feel about gaming conflicts from earlier parts in the timeline, before The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings take place? I was reading plenty of cool stuff this week about Gondor's wars with the Eastlings, and it seems like there's almost unlimited opportunities for gaming conflicts outside of The War of the Ring. As always, keep up the great work, and thanks for answering all our questions.
I think there's tons of, that's the wonderful thing about it being a mythology. If you think about this war game, instead of think of it as a war game just for sort of tournament play, as it were, if you think of it as a mechanism for creating narrative, then the mechanism is there, and you can create a narrative from.
Yeah, it's endless, isn't it? It's absolutely endless.
Yeah, there is no end to the kind of themes that you can create, and going backwards in history is something that. I did it at the doubles tournament. We took Ael the Young and a bunch of Sons of Ael, and we had Kirian, and we did the whole Gondor, the Northmen, because Rohan didn't exist at the time, versus the the Balkoth, as it were, and the Wain Riders who came from the east. So yeah, there is definitely scope to do that, I think. I always really like the idea of doing a Kinstrife campaign, the Gondor civil war between what was southern Gondor, which became Umbar, and Gondor itself. So I think there's loads of room for that. Have you ever seen those kind of things before? People doing things from before War of the Ring times? And
again, Ian Spillers was the first thing I saw.
Yeah, it's a good reference. How about yourself?
The sort of mythology of it all is not something I'm really don't really know much about, so it's not something I've done, but anyone that does do it, I always think it looks very cool, and it gets you interested. You go, what's this name of this person, and it makes you get really interested in the Force. So
yeah, it's nice that everything can have that story, and like I say, if you use this as a mechanism to create a narrative, then you're onto a winner. So next up, you've got Narlister.
Yeah, Narlister says, thanks guys, I'm probably shifting the list around to have maxed out warbands. This week's question is on a similar theme. In my good force I am taking Galadriel as my only proper spellcaster, brackets for fluff reasons. Originally I was going to take the old version because Immobilize is so essential, but because Sterling is all good versus evil, what's your opinion on me having the new one instead? Evil armies are bound to be full of wraiths.
Good idea.
Okay, yeah, if it's going to be good versus evil and going off the current meta, you're going to see a lot of wraiths on Felbeast.
There are loads of wraiths on Felbeast at the moment, and there will be loads of Sterling.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. There's a lot riding on Sterling as for league positioning as well, isn't there?
Certainly is.
So a lot of people will be taking.
Of Sterling, what's points cost?
2 800-point armies.
So yeah, 800 points.
You're going to see wraiths.
You're going to see 1 or 2 wraiths per force.
So I would say new. Unless you're your list.
I don't have any wraiths.
What are you taking?
I'm taking Isengard.
Mm-hmm.
Pure Isengard.
Nice. With Saruman. Grima.
Maybe. Yeah, Saruman.
You're welcome.
Grima, ferals, berserkers, crossbows, standard
Usual
troops.
stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
standard army.
going back to it, you need, I would say, new Galadriel all day long for starting.
Yeah.
Probably as a rule of thumb these days. In tournaments, it would potentially maybe.
Did he say what army he was bringing it with?
Magic. Jamie would disagree. I think.
Yeah, Jamie likes
Jamie likes the old one.
He's not.
I don't think he said. What army are you taking?
I think it was Wood Elves. I remember this question from last week, and you saying Max your warbands.
Just bear in mind, it might be worth having 2 casters.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
800
you've got the points to get 2 in.
If
Then.
you can get new Saruman in with that and do a J Claire, then that's pretty good anti what you're likely to come up against.
Yeah.
You know, and if I was smart, it'd be something I'd be thinking about. So thanks very much for that analyst there. Next up, we got Ryan Shady Shaw. He put Jamie, I can't believe you've seen 8 Mile. It's too good to miss. Haha. But it is what it is. Do you like 8 Mile?
I've never seen it actually.
What?
No.
I used to like it.
Yeah.
And now
Did you walk round like with your?
Yeah, I thought it was B Rabbit and like a bandana and one sleeve rolled up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Everybody in the free one.
Please don't. Do
Everybody
that,
in the. I don't know what your postcode is. The
M43.
This is going to become a sketch.
Yeah, we could do this.
Yeah, we could do this. Right, okay, yeah, we'll get to work on that.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
SBG
to a channel near you. It's crazy, James, that you brought up the question I was going to ask for this week, and that's songs. But I want to add artists as well. So what are your top 5 songs and artists? That's so tough. Now, I totally understand this is hard to answer because I assume, like myself, they always change for artists, though it's pretty obvious who's number 1, Eminem. Then it's probably going to be Hopsin. I've never heard of that person. Hopsin, Dr. Dre, and Tech 9. Very long-winded comment. My bad. Thanks, Ryan Shady Short. Well, listen, don't apologise. We're glad to have you here on the show. That is tough.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
Was it last week where it was the top 5 films and I had a think in my head
movies,
it's an endless list, isn't it? And you don't know who to get rid of.
It's basically which Lord of the Rings / Hobbit film do you drop when it's top 5 films?
Yeah.
I think you count them as one, don't you?
Yeah, I count them as well. It makes it much easier. Yeah. So, favourite artists?
Favourite artists? Unfortunately, I don't really listen to that type of music, so it wouldn't be Eminem or anyone. I'm more of a rock and roll and 60s music, and so the Beatles are my favourite band, so they were definitely
Kinks.
up there. Kinks,
I love
exactly.
the Kinks.
Exactly, yeah. I'm a massive fan of Oasis and Muse. That's sort of the more recent stuff that I
Muse
like.
would be up there for me, I think. Yeah.
Some of the Blur stuff was very good. That comes out as
very
well.
good, yeah.
But
But then there's like
pulp great. A lot of that Britpop kind of stuff. Very good.
And then there's like
Good question.
Queen,
it's just a bit tough to sort of hammer down on the spot.
5 songs as well is harder than 5 artists as well.
It totally depends. He's absolutely right, because it completely depends on what stage you're like. If you could ask this question week by week, it would change. Like week by week, not because there's suddenly some kind of current song that comes out, because that's not something I'm particularly great with, but it just depends what mood you're in. The gym playlist is a great thing of this, because there are times when I'm there and I'm in there and I've got like Pendulum and Prodigy and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I'm proper. Next thing you know, I've got some like Eminem on. It just, and then I'll have some classical music on. You know what I mean? So it's.
I tell you one worth mentioning. I've never seen a bunch of wargamers go as mad as when I Predict a Riot came on in Amici's. That was nuts. It was like a mosh pit in the middle of an Italian restaurant. It was insane.
You say that. What did they go really?
I think everyone went insane for Taylor Swift at one point.
Oh no!
And what was the other one?
It's the
last year, I was stood talking to Kieran Street, who is as rock as they come, and I'm Walking on Sunshine came on, and you've never seen him move to the dance floor as quick in your life. It was genius.
Just a small little taste, and if you've still not seen it, I recommend everybody just goes and watches the last 20 minutes. If you're doing some painting, so just pop the last, and you're not sure what coming to an event is like. Especially coming, Stockport and Mitch's and everything. Just watch the last half an hour of Hobby Vlog 2 for that, because I watch it and it just fills me because it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The Killers.
Yeah, you can't.
Mr.
The old
Brightside.
killer stuff. Yeah,
The old killer stuff. Mr.
Yeah, you
Brightside.
can't.
They went crazy for that. It's a
It's a
great
great song, though, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great song. So thank you very much for that, Ryan. Great contribution as always. So next up we've got Ian Marley.
He's put, I have a suggestion. You can celebrate episode 100, but don't celebrate episode 100, but episode 111. So it can be your 111th birthday.
An empty first birthday.
Yeah.
So the Hobbit stuff seems to be going out of production before Lord of the Rings stuff. Is there anything you want just from the Hobbit range that you feel you need to get before it no longer exists?
Good question, Ian, and thank you for contributing.
Smaug.
Have you not got it?
No, I need to. I keep getting
You
that
spend,
close, and
you spend so much accumulated on lots of different random stuff
Yeah.
that you should just. It's
yeah,
worth it.
I'm gonna do it, and like I'm probably not in a position to do it this time. But if we get another one, I'm just gonna not, because I'm worried when the next one will be the last one. I will own a Smaug.
What happens if it's the last one?
I'm just gonna take yours. I'll tell Jane, and she'll confiscate it off you, and I'll. But Smaug is sort of the one thing that I need. I mean, I've got all the new Mirkwood elves, and I've got my Goblin Town. Smaug is the one for me.
Yeah, if anything for you, you're getting rid of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
And not some.
Yeah. I got a bit
Very,
too much
very
stuff.
naughty boy.
Yeah.
Your allowance has been withdrawn from Wargaming.
Certainly has, yeah.
How about yourself? From new Hobbit range?
The only really new Hobbit stuff I've got is Rivendell Knights. I think maybe some of the heroes. I think I would like Bayon at one point, but I've not got that yet, so maybe that's something I might get before it does go out. Maybe some of the Eagles, they're quite cool. Well, in actual force, not really. I don't really fancy the elves or the dwarves, unfortunately. Although saying that, some of the late town stuff are very nice, so maybe that as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I was gutted when the Captain of Erebor went out of production so early on, but luckily Jerome from Rotterdam White Scars, he's bringing me one over when he comes next year, so that's good. I know that I need another box of Riverdale Knights, so I do need to pick those up at some point. So if they suddenly went out of production, I would be devastated because they factor into my plans. Other things, you know, if I was absolutely loaded, I would probably buy everything, but I'm not, and so therefore if anything went out, I think I've probably got the things that I want now.
Yeah, we also got the stuff we wanted as it came.
You say that though, I did that with Lord of the Rings. I can remember when Gildor was on there £7.20 or whatever, and you know, it was like, oh well, shan't he? And then he went out of production, and I thought, I don't need him, and he went out of production.
I need a Gildor. I do need a Gildor.
So I bought it off Darren.
Oh, okay.
I bought it off Darren, yeah. Yeah, when all the Lord of the Rings stuff started going out of production. Good look for his stuff. It's like, yeah, this is still on the store.
Cool.
But we're friends. So thank you very much for that, Ian. Next up we've got Andreas, the Norwegian Viking.
And he says, Halloween special.
Should we do something? Woo! That sounded camp as Christmas. I'm sorry. And that's the scariest thing you're going to see all day.
Mark, we're carrying this video, I'm telling you.
Go on, you can answer the next one as well.
Brad Dye Hipster, and he says, hello, my question for this week is in regards to this 750 point list. Saruman with horse, 10 feral Urukai, and 1 Wildman of Dunland with 2-handed weapon.
That's good.
Yeah, Vrasku and 10 crossbows.
That's good.
Urukai Shaman with armour, 1 Urukai with banner and 10 berserkers.
That's good.
Grima with horse.
It's very good.
That if somebody said to me, build a 750 point Isengard list, it would probably be that or very, very similar.
Why will that can you afford that?
I was just thinking,
Yeah,
actually.
160.
Can you get that in?
3, 10, 8, 5, 7, 8.
Can you get that in?
7, 10, about 730 with the banner. What's Grima?
20. Are we allowed to say 25 of horse? It's 35.
5 Maria Goblins. Quick math, yeah, it is about 750 that,
Oh
yeah.
gosh, that'd smash my 800 point. I'll go upstairs.
He's got the banner as well, he's got 10 ferals,
yeah.
10 berserkers.
I was thinking, how's he?
So what's his numbers? He's got 11, 12, 23, 34, 35, it's 36 models. Yeah, that's solid.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's pretty good. It's for 750 points you'll come across lots bigger armies, and you might come across 2 casters, which will do reasonably well to shut down Saruman, but Green on horses are always a good shout. So it's a very good list actually.
I would maybe suggest 5 ferals, 5 berserkers, and then 5 ferals, 5 berserkers,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
just in case the defence 5 comes against.
Again, it's your elf bows, you could have the berserkers at the front for the defence 6 front line.
Or even or even making sure that the ferals are with the berserkers because they're more likely to go down and die, so it's going to pay off a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because they're more likely to be wounded, perhaps.
Yeah.
Although they're going to cost less, so yeah, something to think about. Oh, hang on a minute! Who's this?
Who's this guy?
It's you. You want to read out? Go on. What's your question, pal?
My question is, hey guys.
So who? You got to read out the name.
Oh, sorry, it's 19 Mark F91. Are you guys James Bond fans, and will you be seeing the new film? And happy strategy battle game.
Seen it.
Have you? Is it good?
I saw it yesterday as well.
Is it good?
Well, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, but I saw it yesterday.
Okay, so we've got to do our best not to give away spoilers.
Yeah.
Are you a big James Bond fan?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely more of a Daniel Craig fan. I have seen all the old ones, of course, but I think Daniel Craig's really good. So the last 4 films have definitely,
Good. It's definitely
made me a big fan.
the dynamic of Bond has changed with him being involved. I think it's a lot more action movie-esque.
Yeah.
It's a lot more like Bourne.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
A little bit more like the Bourne movies.
See, I was torn on Daniel Craig. I like Casino Royale, but then I didn't like Quantum of Solace that much. And then I did grow to love Skyfall, but I am going to go and see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I don't know if you found the same, but it made me want to go and watch all of the Daniel Craig ones in a row.
Yes.
Because it references things that I definitely didn't notice and felt very much like it was being tedious linked. Like they were trying to create that there was this whole background thing, like it's not like linking it together. But I know that there are, this idea that he was kind of like the puppet master, but that was never really that obvious in any of the others.
No, I had watched the last 3 quite recent to watching this one, so I think, like I say, it is sort of clutching at straws a little bit, trying to link it.
I thought that, felt like that.
You don't mind, when you're watching it, you don't mind that
it's a good movie.
Definitely.
It's a good standalone movie. I also never really felt like Bond was ever really in that much peril. There's only one part, and it's the part when he's in the building in Rome. That's probably the best bit of the movie for me, when you got the big long table.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And when you get the reveal of the bad guy.
Yeah.
That is by far the best bit.
Is it Christopher Waltz?
Yeah.
That for me will be one of the reasons I watch the film, because he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
he is, yeah.
He's incredible.
The 2 films he won the Oscars for were both amazing films. Very good.
You asked the question. I just realised I asked you then, but are you a James Bond fan? I forgot when I was asking you that you'd actually asked the question. So yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a very good film.
Did you watch it yesterday knowing that you'd asked this question, so you needed to be able to answer it yourself?
I didn't know I was going to be in this till yesterday.
He's alright, it's 2 days ago.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. No, it's very good, isn't it? It's very good.
Would you say it's better than Skyfall, or would you even say Skyfall is the best one?
No, Casino Royale for me.
Casino Royale is the best.
Because it was a game changer, wasn't it? That was part of it. It took Bond into something new.
Yeah.
It took him into something new. It had a level of complexity and sophistication which was quite nice, whereas some of the other ones are very... I thought the opening sequence of Spectre was amazing.
That is really good, yeah.
The opening sequence is amazing.
That is the best part of the film, I actually think.
it's up there. It's very, very, very good.
I'm going to try and watch it next week.
Yeah, it's good.
But my favourite Bonds are the old Sean Connery ones. I love From Russia with Love. I like
Roger Moore. Just
Roger Moore. I like the Roger Moore ones as well, but for a different reason.
Yeah.
In my mind, Sean Connery is James Bond. You can imagine him.
He is. Yeah.
You can imagine him being ex-SAS, ruthless, but having that, because you've got to be completely ruthless to be in that situation. So yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
So next up we've got what, and he's put greetings. This week's question to keep me in the loop. You don't want to be here, it's just an obligation. Well, I've got to stay in the loop. No, I'm glad that you take your loop obligation seriously. You put SBG versus Warhammer. I wonder what it is about SBG that doesn't age it. Let me explain. Warhammer had 8 editions, tons of models, and yet every edition, typically 3 years in, the players got bored and jaded. Everyone knows the tricks of other armies lists, and they all sit and wait for the new edition. Yet with SBG we've been playing the same profiles rules for ages, and we even don't know that this is it. No more official GW support going forwards. Yet we keep playing, we have great fun, and we're even growing. Read Desolation of Stockport, for example. So what do you think? What is it about SBG that gives it its long shelf life? Cheers, fellows, and thank you for your time. That is a very, very good question. And I've got a good answer for it, but I'll let one of you guys go first.
I understand what he's saying about Warhammer gets a new edition every 3 years, but with a game as big...
Well, it doesn't exist anymore.
No, I know. As big and as old as Warhammer, we get new lists and we get new models. and things like that. Like to put a new, I think it's been years since they put a new Warhammer Fantasy army in, isn't it? So we get new scenarios through source books like we did with the Hobbit releases, and we get new models which then change the meta of the game to help keep it fresh, and it has been over the last few years. It really does reinvigorate it, and you see different things like the Rivendell Knights coming through as a very big list and stuff like that, and Galadriel's a good example.
Yeah, that's a good example. I think a big part as well, sort of touching on your point, is the fact that because there is a growing sort of independent scene that's exploded in this country in particular in the last couple of years, and is getting bigger elsewhere as well. Because people are playing each other more and more, then immature metas are becoming more mature as people are playing against more and more different types of armies, and then that encourages people to go and get new stuff. Although that probably wouldn't be my answer. I actually think it's down to the system itself. The system, in my opinion, compared to other things that I've seen and experienced, on the whole, is relatively balanced. And what I mean by that is that there is no set build or list which, if you give it to any player, will destroy everything else. A good player at Hobbit strategy battle game, Lord of the Rings strategy battle game, with a not so great list, will typically beat a novice player who's got a very good list. And that's a credit to the system. It's a system that requires a lot of skill, a lot of thinking, a lot of knowledge of the mechanics of how things combine and work, and because of that, because of the actual quality, you're not getting a situation where, okay, this is the latest edition, this army breaks it, everybody brings this list, everybody comes to the tournament, and the people who want to win bring this list, everybody gets bored of it because that list is always winning. What's the point of playing because you're playing against that list? You don't get that in Hobbit.
Yeah, and I mean, that's quite common knowledge in Warhammer Fantasy. There are some lists that upon deployment you can't beat. That there's direct counters for everything in Warhammer, and you can walk to a table, look at what your opponent's bringing, and know you physically, no matter what the dice do, can't win that game.
Which is a shame.
And we were talking about this upstairs, weren't we? We were saying about how any list can literally beat any other list, and it's got a level of balance that, there are some stuff that maybe certain people think are too good, underpointed, but on a given day, any list can take any list, and that's what makes it fun. And that sort of heroic gameplay makes you enjoy it even more because you become immersed in it, and I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big part of it, especially sort of in contrast to not just Warhammer but Warhammer 40k as well. You know, that's why it keeps fresh.
I would say in general as well, our community, nobody tends to try to break it in a way. So even though it's
debatable,
as a
really,
but this is the thing. I think people try.
Yeah.
But those things quickly can get found out and don't always work because of the scenario. I think the scenarios are hugely balancing.
Absolutely.
In this, in this system, the scenarios balance a lot of things over the course of a tournament. You know, you'll get a force that might be impossible to beat to the death. You know, really, really tough.
Yeah, it's like if you look at an all-hero force, it's going to dominate in Lords of Battle, but it's going to struggle in domination as a balance.
Yeah, so that's definitely something to take into account. So it's a very good question. Thank you very much for that. Whoa! I believe that's how you're supposed to do it. Next up, we've got Jericho Jackson.
Hey James and Jamie, I'm going to a tournament in less than a month, 750 points, 2 models must be greater than 250. I want some thoughts on my list options. What he's thinking of taking is Shadow Lord on Felbeast, Knight of Unbound Felbeast, Corsair Captain with crossbow, Corsair Captain with 2-handed weapon, 10 Reavers, 11 Arbalesters, 10 Corsairs with spear and shield. I'm wondering what you think it could do. I'm wondering whether you think it could be better to swap the Shadow Lord for a shade, then use the extra points left over to get some more troops, or swap the Knight of Umbar for a shade and then use the leftover points to get another captain, or to lend the troops, to lead the troops Knight of Umbar was leading, and some more troops. Some of the final scenarios are Seize the Prize, Hold Ground, and Contest of Champions. So I want to do well in these scenarios. Also, who would you recommend as leader out of Shadow Lord and Knight of Umbar?
Very good question. Very competitive list building thinking there.
Is it illegal? Arbalesters are the ones with the crossbows, aren't they?
I think it works out okay. 31 divided.
Because it's rounded up. Of course. Yeah.
I think it works about just about okay. But I always think they're exactly the same.
Yeah, when you look at it that way, yeah.
Okay, first of all, now putting a shade in is filthy. Like it's with Reavers, with Corsair Reavers, because they're 5 and 2 attacks. It is completely filthy and a little bit of overkill, I actually think. Like, I don't think you necessarily need to drop that shade in. You could bring a shade in and get some Orc cheap spearmen and have your spear support that way, but it is filthy. I actually think the Shadow Lord is more important on sort of our current meta, because you go in our meta at the moment. There's a lot of shooting armies, lots of Rivendell Knights, lots of elves.
I mean, I'd agree. I would drop the Knight of Umbar for the shade, because you've got 11 Arbalistas there.
I wouldn't drop the Knight of Umbar for a shade.
Contest
if we're looking at his 2 points, which is basically which one would you drop for a shade, for me it would be the Knight of Umbar. Because he's going to win the shooting war, and then, if I remember correctly, Corsairs with spears count as pikes. Is it like boarding pikes or something? That's a special rule. So he's going to outshoot them with the 11 crossbows, and then he will have a very solid wall of fight 5-2 attack with pike support.
Do they count as pikes? Or are they just called boarding pikes?
No, there is a rule. There is a rule for it. I'm pretty sure they are pikes. Don't quote me on that, but I think so.
I actually think, if anything, if you swap your Corsairs with spear and shield and try and get more Reavers. Just max out Reavers as much as you possibly can. Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Some of the scenarios are seize the prize, hold ground, and contest the champions. They're the ones I want to do well in. So you'll do well with a fell beast in seize the prize. That's a good way of getting up there, and you'll actually do better in seize the prize with 2, because you hand it off to the other one and leave.
Exactly.
Hold ground. You're going to want some numbers for hold ground.
Yeah, Reavers will do that. And the fact that he's got Arbalistas, he can just camp.
And then contest of champions, the Knight of Umbar would be the one. So, yeah.
Don't drop your shade. Don't bring in a shade. Don't drop Knight of Umbar and Fell Beast to do very, very well. Shadow Lord and Fell Beast is good as well. If you want more numbers, you could maybe... 2 Fell Beasts is pretty good actually, so going for that. And then just try and maybe get in more Reavers instead of Corsairs with Spear and Shield. That's probably what I would say.
Do the Reavers have axes? That's another part. That's another question.
Have you converted your Reavers to have axes?
I reckon they do. No offence, but looking at that list, I'm pretty sure they've got axes.
Yeah, Jericho Jackson, we're definitely judging you from afar here. No problem doing that. Next up we got Resco. Let's go.
Nice. Resco next up says, yeah, a lot of Flames conversions are excellent. Favourite fluffy special rule?
Ooh, favourite fluffy special rule.
I like some of the Thorin's Company ones. Like, is it the one between, and I always get Thorin's Company's names wrong. So, James Nesbitt.
Biffa.
And the dude
he's
with the...
Boffa.
Is he Boffa? But yeah, Biffa's the one with the thing in the head.
And that's the special rule I like, that Biffa can remove the spear from his head and he gets back. I think Thorin's Company have some great fluffy special rules.
Oh yeah, they definitely do, yeah.
They do. Thorin's Company definitely have some good fluffy special rules.
Like combat synergy.
It's got to be Alfred, I think. That's
a fluffy one?
Yeah. No, I'm joking. Alfred's disgusting.
I really like that you have to take Saruman to take Grima, and that should be what Alfred is.
Alfred should be with Master.
So that's a good rule that you have to, because I think if you didn't, everyone would just drop Grima in. A bit like they do for an evil force, like they do for Alfred for a good force.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, that would be a good way of reining him in.
I like
it certainly sold the model well, I think.
Like when I hear fluff, I always don't think of good special rules, but I like the rules for the ring.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I really like the special rules for the ring.
They're quite well thought out.
Yeah.
Fluffy rules. Fluffy rules. They're really, really fluffy.
It's hard, isn't it? Because a special rule usually gives you something, so you don't.
I like things like the twins, like when one of them dies.
Yes, that's good.
It's nice that he goes and chase. And I believe originally, Knight of the Pelennor, or Aemir, if Eowyn was on the field and died, the same thing would happen to him.
That's cool.
So I think he would become strength 5 if she died.
I like that.
And would go hunting the model that killed.
Yeah,
I think things like that are quite cool.
Yeah.
I can't think of any others off the top of my head that are fluffy special rules. We'll have a little think during this.
Anyone watching it, you comment with yours, because it'd be good to hear what people think.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good course of discussion. Don't steal it, Palantir. Okay, next up we've got Dave Egan. He's put, well done lads, you're almost at 4,000 subscribers.
We're there. Well, you're there. Listen to me!
You're in a t-shirt, that's fine. Thank you very much, Dave. You put, keep up the great work, and as always, happy strategy battle gaming. Thanks as always for your support, Dave. We really appreciate it. I'll read out the next one as well. Dan Wood, this guy's a legend. He's organising a Theoden from Helm's Deep metal Mounted to come to me, which I really wanted because I love that model. It's got great content as usual, guys. Short question this week. I was wondering if you play any Lord of the Rings games that aren't SBG, mainly talking about board games. Thanks again for the great stuff to watch. Well, thanks for your question, Dan. So other Lord of the Rings games.
I used to love the PlayStation 2 Two Towers game, I think it was.
Oh, that was so good.
That was a really good game.
Lurtz, the Lurtz boss fight is the coolest. Oh, it's so good.
Is it good?
I say it's so good.
Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli.
It was so good when I was 16. I actually bought it last year, and,
Did you?
And it's now horrendous. But it was so good at the time. I turned it off after about 10 minutes. But yeah, that was really cool. I loved that when it came out as well. That was really good.
I don't think I played, if there was a Fellowship one, I didn't play that one. And I didn't think the Return of the King one was very good, but the Two Towers one was very good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I never played it. The closest I got to playing something like that, I suppose, was Jane being supportive of my Hobbit hobby, as she is mostly these days. She bought me a Lego PlayStation game. Lego
Hobbit.
Lego Lord of the Rings, I think it was. Lego Lord of the Rings.
Cool.
The game is awful. The game itself is awful.
Yeah.
The thing which is cool about it are all the little. It is a kids game. You walk and you bash. It's bashing.
Yeah.
It's bashing and slashing and bashing and slashing. There's no thought really that goes behind it. But it's the sequences. And what I'd much rather do is go on YouTube and watch all the sequences back to back because they are hilarious. In terms of other games, I played the Lord of the Rings game with Jamie, the board game, which was really good. Where you get out the boards and you're members of the Fellowship, and you've got to try and take the ring to Mordor with the cards, and that was really good. It's a cooperative game.
I've always fancied the War of the Ring board game. It looks like Risk, and that looks very good.
Yeah,
we should try that.
That would be cool. I'm up for that. I've also got Lord of the Rings Risk upstairs, which I've not played yet, because I've got Star Wars Risk. Star Wars Risk is awesome.
Is it good?
It's really good.
Closest I've never played Risk.
Risk is great.
I've never played Risk either. But
let's do it. Let's do this again. Let's do this again.
It seems like
content.
a game that I think I'd like, but I've just never.
It takes a while to set up.
Yeah.
But once you've got it set up, so yeah, if you ever did decide to come, I would set it up in advance.
Yeah.
Because I think it would take a while.
Yeah.
But I've not actually played the Lord of the Rings Risk. I'll tell you what was really good. Jamie's got loads of card and board games, and he had the Hobbit Love Letter game. It's called Love Letter.
I've heard about this. Yeah.
Really, really good. It's just a little pouch that carries around. It's got some cards in it, and you get some cards. Some are discarded, and there are. You know how many Gandalfs there are, how many Tariels, and you're effectively trying to trump.
I've seen it played at events actually, like in between games or something.
Possibly, yeah. Really
cool.
Good. So thanks very much for that, Dan. And next up, we've got Copenhagen Middle Earth Battle Gamers. Fantastic.
They've put, hey guys, great content as always. We're three guys over in Denmark who wish to contribute to the growing amount of SGB content on YouTube.
Good work, lads.
So we created a new channel and an accompanying Facebook group called Copenhagen Middle Earth Battle Gamers. It launched in early October with weekly battle reports, unboxings and hobby vlogs. We also post other videos once in a while, such as a review of the Battle of the Five Armies EE.
Extended edition.
Of course, yeah. A hint, no other movie has benefited as strongly from an extended cut than this film.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, definitely. It would be absolutely awesome if you could dedicate this week's Scouring of YouTube to our new channel.
Too late.
Look who muscled in on that one. Gil, I'm afraid.
Do you know what? I'll give mine up for that.
I can't do two Scouring of YouTubes. The subscribers struggle to do one, let alone two. I'll tell you what we do. If you comment next week and stay in the loop, I promise. No, you shouldn't promise things you can't keep them. I expect that I would be able to do that next week for you. But just on the slide, we'll do a mini one. Copenhagen Middle Earth Battle Gamers. If any of you guys are over in Denmark, go and check that out. So thank you very much for that, guys. Next up, we've got Charmed Balthazar.
Yep, Charmed Balthazar says, hey guys, I have a question. Excluding the Bolg profiles, which profile do you find most fitting for Gundabad Orc General, or Keeper of the Dungeons, as he's accredited in Battle of the Five Armies? I've been asking people online, and there does seem to be a split between using him as a Gundabad Orc Captain and a Hunter Orc Captain. Gundabads are much more durable, which fits a big Orc like him, but Hunter Orc Captains can take two-handed weapons. His look is pretty spiky and feral, which I do think fits the Hunter Orcs better. What do you guys think? I think Gundabad because he's a big, beastie, muscly thing, isn't he?
I would have said Gundabad as well.
I go Gundabad.
I can see your point, especially with the sort of war gear thing.
Yeah, that's in it.
A tricky position for Games Workshop to be in there.
Yeah.
Look, this is our main bad guy.
Yeah.
You can see why they would be frustrated. Look, this is the artwork. This is our main bad guy. These are all the things that are happening. This is the important stuff. Boom, change everything. You know,
I'm kind of glad now though because I love the old Bolg model and I love the new one and I get the opportunity to use them both.
Yes,
which
very
is
much
good.
so. I like them both.
The old Bolg model is probably my favourite from the Hobbit range.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I love it.
I think not a lot of people disagree with that. A lot of people really like it. A lot of people really like it. So thank you very much for that, Charles Balthazar. Next up, we've got Bozza Wazza. He's put, hey guys, we're having our first tournament this weekend for the first time in a few years in my hometown of Christchurch in New Zealand.
Nice.
Superb news.
Well done.
Hope it goes well. I want to start a Battle Companies League to keep everyone playing and get more players involved. Do you have any tips for running a Battle Companies League? Good spreadsheet.
Yeah, Jamie's your man for that.
Yeah, just get Jamie involved.
No, I meant that because he's done Battle Companies.
I knew what you meant, Mr. Finnegan. Get out! Both of you, go! Anyway.
Moving on.
Top tips. So you need someone who's leading it. You need cool scenarios that you create. You need a good Facebook group that you constantly post into and creating activity, creating narratives that go behind it, and someone who's very good at logging information.
Yeah.
Spreadsheets are important.
Correct.
I hate spreadsheets. So thanks very much for that, Bozza Wazza. Let us know how your tournament goes in Christchurch. So next up we've got Nano Dave 1980.
It's put, hi GBHL, my question is about tournaments. The other week or so you said about yours might be 350 to 400 points. What types of armies would you see for that amount of points? I was trying to think of a list, nothing competitive as I play for a laugh. I could do Gondor or Rohan, Mordor as points are cheaper. I could try the Free Peoples, but they seem to be high points. Any ideas would be grateful. Thanks, Dave.
Well, thanks very much for your question, Nano Dave. So yeah, we're thinking, none of this is set in stone, but we think maybe April's tournament, because it's earlier in the year, a bit more of an intro one, to help new people be introduced to the game. So 350 to 400 points, what type of armies do we tend to see?
Hobbits. Things that you can spam cheap troops you're going to see, like hobbits.
Yeah, the armies that you see are probably going to be the ones which are cheap. And then usually you get the two polar extremes, I think. You tend to get...
You'll see all. Like at your escalation tournament, the finale last year, I used all hero.
Yeah.
Well, obviously both days, but I think the first day was like Gil-galad, Twins, Arwen.
Yeah.
And that's about 400, somewhere around there.
I think you took less, didn't you, on the first day and then took more?
Yeah, I was sort of 30 points shy on the first day, and then the second day...
You were in front after the first day, weren't you?
Smashing it. And then I added Gwahir and an eagle.
You let yourself go.
Yeah, all went wrong. Amichis, man, party night.
We all know that's not the case.
Yeah. And then the second day I added Gwahir and an eagle, which done really well.
Oh, really?
In hindsight, I should have took Aragorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. My day two choices weren't great.
You still did very well.
But the thing is, the beauty of that list is I'd never used any model before. Because I'd just got them off Murtaugh that day as a commission. So I built a list out of models that I was given on the morning of the tournament. And obviously the Eagles were in there, so it was good. It was good fun to use.
Oh yeah.
How about yourself? You been to any 350 small?
Smaller points, like you say, you're not going to have too many, unless it's all hero, you're not going to have too many big heroes because the points sink, so you will have a lot of hoarding with cheap heroes. So yeah, you will probably do well with Rohan and Gondor at that points because you can get someone like a good hero like Faramir who's quite low points for what he is. And get a lot of troops because they're cheap, so you could probably do well with Gondor.
Hoarding Gondor with its cheap heroes is not a bad shout at all. I think we come back to a point that we made earlier, in that because there is no clear meta for the number of points, it depends very much on the scenarios. The scenarios will determine whether you get fast armies, all hero armies, big heroes, small heroes, lots of troops, not a lot of troops, Felbeast, Shamans, all these things are determined by the way that the scenarios are written, what order the scenarios are in, if there is an order. Yeah,
there's no generic answer to what list for this point. It very much depends on what games you're playing with.
It wouldn't surprise me if next year we actually saw a few more random order of scenarios, so you knew what scenarios were going to be there.
but you didn't know the
But
order.
you didn't know
That's
the
good.
order.
Has there ever been a tournament where they haven't said what any of the scenarios are going to be till a day?
Hasn't there just been one?
Yeah, didn't Mansfield do it?
Yeah.
Did they do it? But I think they told you what they were going to be.
I tell you what I'd
They gave a
like.
list of them.
Yeah, I tell you what I'd like as well. Again, you're given 6 scenarios. You don't know what order they're going to come out, and escalation. Do you know, just to really mix it up? So,
That'd be really crazy.
like, you don't want to know which 3 you've got day 1 because you can still list build for that. So, yeah. So
That'd be cool.
6, like you say, 6 scenarios, random, and an escalation.
Just write this
That
down.
would go with
You're not running the Hobbit SBG tournament next year, are you?
that. I am now.
Steve's running one, isn't he?
Steve is
Altrincham.
Altrincham Wargames.
Get a chance to play locally, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for your question, Nano Dave. So next up, we've got Josh Triffitt.
Cool. Josh Triffitt says, congratulations on 4,000 subscribers.
Thank you very much, Josh. You're
Good
a good
stuff.
guy. We love you. And then finally, this is the final question of this week's Speak Friendly Question. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Robert Camp. Hi, guys. I have to say that my top 3 films, I would have The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, are both just incredible films, but picking third is... So you picked 2 of mine.
Yeah.
Picking a third is just too hard. It is tough. My question today is, having this channel for a few years now, what are your best and worst experiences? Thanks, guys. Thanks again, and keep all the great content coming. Also, congrats on 4,000 subscribers. You're looking at me very hard from outside. I would say...
Well, meeting me is clearly the best. We can rule that.
No. In all seriousness, the best thing by far about this hobby, full stop, not just the channel. I mean, I'll come on to sort of the benefits of the channel in a second. But the best thing by far, becoming part of the community, is meeting everyone. I've made such great friends, you know, and it's been wonderful to see that grow, you know, across the country, and it's been nice to feel like we've had a little bit of a part in that with the channel. And it undoubtedly has had an effect for everybody, so that's a good thing, and I'm glad to have been a part of that. It's been cool. I think all of that kind of has come to a head a couple of times this year from a good point of view. I am absolutely astounded that I ended up going to Washington.
Yeah, that was mega, yeah.
You know, the DCHL sorted us out and got the whole team over there and made it a very easy decision to make. That was unreal and just completely blew my mind. You know, and has been accepted as such from people who aren't involved in the hobby. You know, like lots of people have gone, wow, that is really like unbelievable, that's cool. So I think that, and also, you know, then with Redesolation of Stockport and just seeing the huge amount and knowing that next year we will probably exceed over 100 people.
Yeah, it's definitely settled to do
And
so.
and now there's people coming from across the world as well. I find all of that incredibly exciting. So, you know, we've had lots and lots of very good experiences. Meeting the people has been the best thing, and those have been maybe highlight moments in a lot of ways. In terms of worst experiences, the channel, I don't know. You know,
It must be stressful trying to organise, like, you've got your own social life, you've got your own personal life, to find time to do it. Like, the amount of content you get out must be quite hard to fit it in.
it's a good point. It's a good point, and I would agree with you to a degree, because, you know, getting the content out it's not easy. It does take a degree of sacrifice of time. But this has been a hobby for me in itself. You know, the channel itself has become a hobby for me. It's become a form of expression. I'm very honest. I'm who I am. You know, if you've ever met me in a tournament or in real life, then you'll see that I'm exactly the same. You know, in all ways. So it's a good sort of outlet for me in lots of ways. It's a chance that I've learned so many new skills which have helped me with my business. You know, the video editing's been great. So I've enjoyed it as a hobby, and I think when you enjoy something, you don't mind trying to find the time for it. It's like if you meet the girl. You know, I remember when I met Jane, I was working over 100 hours. I wasn't working for myself at the time. I was working over 100 hours. Met her. She was busy. She was going places with her work. I was going places with mine. We had that conversation. We've got no idea how we're going to see each other. It might be weeks before we see each other. And in that week, we managed to meet for a coffee and food about 6-7 times after that first kind of date.
When you enjoy doing something, you make time for it.
Exactly. You find time, and I've very much rescheduled, you know, readjusted the way that my work-life pattern is with Biotic Fit business hugely in the last few months after the wedding, because it had to change because I was making myself poorly and doing the channel on top of that. You know, it was a release for that, but it didn't leave a lot of time for much else. Now I'm going to have a lot more time to put into creating content, and you know, I enjoy doing it. So yeah, I suppose those are the best experiences. From a worst experience point of view, you know, probably a public video isn't the best way to sort of talk about, you know, anything else. So yeah, lots and lots of good experiences all around. I think. Very much enjoyed doing it. Have you guys enjoyed being involved in Speak Funny Question?
Loved it.
Definitely. Question. Thank you so much for being involved. It's always better when it's more than just myself. I enjoy it as well. So thank you. So we're going to go. I'm going to go and film a bunch of content for you guys. So as ever,
comment, like, share, and subscribe.
Pledge to Jamie on Patreon.
Follow us on Twitter and on Facebook.
And happy strategy battle gaming.
No, you missed it. God damn it! Support your Hobbit hobby.
And happy strategy battle gaming.